the natural state of Arkansas. There is so much to see and hear, so many places to find wildlife and beauty, so many places to experience history. There's so much that it is easy to take our natural heritage for granted. A good reason why we should stop and learn some of the lessons of our land, of our wildlife, of our history.
What do you think the Indians used to do with this?
This is Learning Day at Toltec Mound State Park, a place where the oldest of Arkansas's cultures is preserved. Here, the role of Arkansas State Parks as custodian of the past and teacher to our children becomes clear.
If we'd gone back in time, if we went way back when the Indians were here, do you know that we could have seen probably Indians paddling their canoes?
These children may have heard about places like this in the classroom, seen pictures in a book, but nothing can compare to this. It is learning, and it's happening in a state park.
It's really neat because you feel the excitement that they have, you know, and sometimes some people have said, you know, history's boring. Well, it's not. It can come alive.
But not everything at Arkansas State Parks is a lesson to be proud of. Some lessons are about neglect due to underfunding. Some lessons are painful.
It's just crumbling. In fact, if we pushed too hard on this, it would probably fall down.
Falling down is not far-fetched for many of the state's historic Civilian Conservation Corps structures. This is Crowley's Ridge State Park.
You're thinking, well, we're going to lose part of our heritage. It's a shame. You know, gives you a sick feeling that we can't keep the parks in better shape.
It's not just the old buildings that have confounded park managers. It's the support systems of pipes and wiring and paving, the small city in each park that defies meager repair budgets.
Ground shifting, old lines, busting and breaking, stay on the ground.
They will dig up the water lines another 15 times at this park before the year is out. This is a picture of progress and neglect. At Petit Jean State Park, finally, there is some money to repair the floors that are giving way at Mather Lodge. It's one of the proudest structures of our 48 state parks, built in 1939, but neglected for a decade. Neglected because there is hardly any money to pay for the needs of basic maintenance. It's not that park managers don't care. It's just that the total heavy maintenance, repair, and replacement budgets for the 48 parks is too small to do any good. Just $185,000 in general revenue money for all the parks last year. The story repeats itself at parks across the state. 1/2 of the more than 1,700 campsites need major repairs. 250 miles of trails that need urgent repairs. 145 water and sewer systems, some 60 years old, need repairs or replacement. $15 million in fix-up is needed this year. $177 million is needed over 10 years. Money that might as well be on the moon for maintenance supervisors like Billy Williams at Lake Frierson State Park. Williams is watching kudzu swallow 5 acres of his park. And nearby, the shoreline is washing away, a foot or more a year.
Sometimes I feel like I'm just going to, just out here on the battlefield without anything.
The Confederate capital of Arkansas was originally built in 1836. Now, with a little grant money, it is being saved. Saved, but not restored. There's no money to finish all the work. But it's a good thing they finally started this long-delayed project. A good thing because of what they discovered.
From here to here, there was absolutely nothing except a 2x4 right here that held the side of this building up. There you go. And look at it. It was frightening to us.
No park needs more overhaul dollars than Old Washington. This remarkable collection of authentic buildings needs saving now.
We lose buildings, and we lose history that you can't restore. Once these buildings are gone, you can't bring them back.
It's not just parks and buildings that need to be saved. It's our wildlife, too. You're looking at the state's entire division dedicated to non-game preservation.
Children nowadays are oftentimes less in touch with their natural world, and to be able to look eye to eye makes that natural world a very important personal part to them.
She wants children and adults to learn and to pay attention to all the wildlife because of what they mean to us.
We tend to forget that we are just as dependent upon this environment and this habitat as wildlife is.
75% of the wildlife in Arkansas is not hunted. The Game and Fish Commission wants to do more for non-game wildlife, a lot more. But their budget comes from hunting and fishing license sales, sales that have been flat for 10 years. Now, there is not enough money for any of the programs. Game and Fish manages 60 wildlife management areas covering 1.3 million acres. But tight budgets mean less care and less wildlife. In an important move for sportsmen in the 80s, Game and Fish leased 300,000 acres of hunting lands as the once open timberlands became leased. But these leases may be lost as budgets drop.
This fish is a whale.
Even the fishing is threatened. At the 5 Game and Fish hatcheries, the wear of hauling fish and pumping water is taking a toll.
This is one of our wells that has gone dry on us.
This will cost $30,000 to replace. A lot of necessary items need replacement if these fish are going to make it to your favorite river, pond, or lake.
Without the hatcheries, well, there'd be a lot of fishermen that would miss our fish stockings.
There's another job that we depend upon Game and Fish to perform. The job of stopping illegal hunting.
Turn your truck off, kill your lights.
This decoy is one of the most effective tools used in the war against poaching. Enforcement officer Julie Cumberland and her fellow officers use it to save the game for you and for the next generation of hunters.
I've even heard some poachers tell myself or other officers that they don't care if they kill the last deer on the face of the earth.
In fact, Arkansas almost lost its deer herd to unrestricted hunting in the 1930s. Now, the deer number more than 1 million. Even so, wildlife officers are in short supply at a time when the public wants more poachers caught.
Oh boy, this is so much fun.
This is something else Arkansans won't see unless there is new money. Nature centers for learning and discovery. Missouri citizens approved a conservation tax, and now there's a nature center for every urban area. Arkansas Game and Fish will build some too, if there's ever any money. Harold Grimmett is hiking today, hiking the lands he must protect.
The Natural Heritage Commission has 54 natural areas scattered around the state in 42 different counties comprising 16,000 acres, and we have one individual who's responsible for maintaining those areas.
One person to manage 16,000 acres. It barely works. It's the same story. No money for conservation management at the Department of Heritage. Signs of neglect are everywhere. Yet we Arkansans have some very precious lands to look after.
Visually beautiful, but more than that, it's a place where you can come and feel close to nature and actually feel your spirit lifting, feel comfortable.
There are 2 ways to find out what's wrong at the old State House, another Heritage Department property. One way is to peel back the flooring of the 160-year-old former state capitol. The other way is to just walk around the building.
This is the worst crack and the worst movement that we've seen in the building, but if you walk around the outside of the building, you don't have to have me as a guide. You see cracks everywhere.
Cracks that are getting worse very quickly. You wouldn't think that old State House manager and historian Ronnie Nichols would be surprised after seeing the deterioration of inside walls, the ceiling damage, the sinking floors, and let's not forget the wobbly and dangerous railing. But Nichols was surprised to hear that the old State House must face urgent repairs to keep the 2nd floor from caving in.
Well, if it keeps moving an inch every year, that foundation will give way, and we will have more serious damage, and will cost a lot of money in terms of such a place as valuable it is, because you really cannot put a dollar value on a structure as old and as beautiful as this is.
Because the old State House was neglected for so long, it must now close for urgent repairs. Emergency money will pay to stop the walls from spreading farther apart, but the neglect from underfunding here and at other historic properties will continue unless something is done. There is no money to fight this either. Trash, litter, the careless byproduct of a modern society. You might not believe it, but there's not a dollar, not a penny budgeted in Arkansas for anti-litter programs. Now you know why your children don't learn any lessons about this. The Keep Arkansas Beautiful office has a one-person staff with no program budget. That could change if we wanted it to.
Okay, we'll go to who lives here, number 2.
We've included this stop at White Oak Lake State Park, so you'll know that not all news is bad. This is the new Interactive Visitor Center. It was built with a little grant money, private donations, and a lot of aluminum can money.
It shows that the state parks care about this area. It shows that we care about the education of our children.
It's a common mission, preserving the natural world, teaching children, and serving families.
This has got to be what State Parks is about. It's about children. It's about people coming and enjoying a very special place with special people.
We have to save it for the children because without wildlife, the children won't have the quality of the environment that we want them to have.
There is a saying that we do not own the earth. We are merely borrowing it from our grandchildren, and they are going to borrow it from their grandchildren. Keeping Arkansas natural forever is an issue about those generations to come and how well we do our job as caretakers. The rangers and the biologists and the historians can't do it alone, can't do it on the cheap. They need help because there are so many children waiting to discover Arkansas, the natural state.